Hey, hello my logic students, how you doing? I'm just going to do a quick video, Lord willing, over 3, 8, and 11, and you'll be responsible for the rest of them, okay? So let's take a look at number 3 of 14b, all right? Let me move back. This says, if Jesus was, okay. So if Jesus is living, then he is my Savior, okay? I'm going to take all these words, and they ask us to use which rule of inference, but I need to take these rules here, and I'm going to turn this is, okay, moves everything. All right, I'm going to take these rules of inference and see which one applies. But before I could do that, I've got to go, which one is it? So I'm going to take these words and write it in a symbolic logic form. Okay, so if Jesus is living, then here's my Savior. Okay. But it's not done. The sentence is not done. It says, but, so that means I've got to put parentheses here. But if Jesus did not raise from the dead, then my faith is futile. So I did not raise from the dead, faith is futile. If Jesus is living, then he's my Savior. But if Jesus did not raise from the dead, then my faith is futile. Okay? Then the next sentence says, either Jesus is living or he did not raise from the dead. So that's a disjunction. So he is either living or he did not raise from the dead. All right. And then finally it says, thus, either my Savior, thus Jesus is my Savior, or my faith is futile. Okay, sorry. Let's draw that. That's an S, not a J. Okay, S, or Jesus either my Savior or my faith is futile. Something's falling down over here. So, all right. Now we need to know which one is this. Which rule of inference is this? It's probably pretty obvious as you're looking at them, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Okay. So if this is P, not Q, P, Q, R, S. Look what I did there. Look at that. Let's reread that sentence. It says, but if Jesus did not rise from the dead, then my faith is futile. But if then, my apologies, if then. All right, so PQRS, okay, that's P, that's R. Hey, look, that looks very similar to something. And then that's going to be a Q, and that's going to be a little s, okay, a little s. So there we go. We can see that this flows, and then that is a CD for constructive dilemma. Okay, all right, one down. Number 8. This is a pretty easy one, pretty straightforward. It says Judas betrayed Christ. Okay, Judas betrayed Christ. I'm going to use J for Judas, and then it says Judas. Okay, so is my conclusion word. So, Judas betrayed Christ, or he killed himself. A little morbid right there. Gallows humor, not really, but pretty serious stuff. But here we can see Judas betrayed Christ, or Judas betrayed Christ, or he killed himself. Okay, yeah. All right. So, how do we go? How do we get this from there? How do we go from straight there to there? This one is going to be our addition. Okay, so addition, and there we go. All right, let's move on. All right, last one, number 11. Okay, says if Mary Magdalene was with the women in the tomb, then she would have seen a vision of the angel. So this one is pretty straightforward. This one is not asking you to prove it. It is just asking you, is it valid or invalid? So this is old school review. We're just taking the words and then rewriting them in symbolic logic form. So I've got my big long line here. And so if Mary was with the women, then she saw a vision. Okay, so it says, if Mary Magdalene was with the women in the tomb, then she would have seen a vision of the angels. Okay, and then if she saw a vision, then she would have told the apostles. So if she saw a vision, then she would have told the apostles. I use V for vision and T for told. Could use A for angels or A for apostles. So that's why I didn't use A for apostles or angels, because that would be too ambiguous, so V for vision and T for told. And then it says that she told the apostles about the vision, so T. All right. And then therefore it says Mary Magdalene saw a vision of angels, and so she saw a vision, and okay, she was with the women, okay, in the tomb. Okay, so is this a valid argument? So to do that, remember we set all of our premises true and our conclusion false, and we are assuming this. So if we come up with a counter argument or a counter example, then this is going to be we are assuming that this is invalid, and if we can prove that it is, go through, then it is. If we find a counter example, then it is valid. Okay, so right here we don't have enough information here to determine whether this is true here. Now we've got this situation here, we've got to put a T there. All right, the only way that works is if you have a T. All right, so actually that's not true. That could be an F as well. Hold on one second. Let's see. Okay, so we see a situation where we could be true, 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 or we could still have false, true for V, and this is we don't have a choice here. So again, this could be this. This is still okay. So false, true on a if then. So then I'm going to bump on this situation. I'm going to put the T there, okay, and then over here I'm going to put true and then false, okay. And again, W in this situation could be false. That'd be fine. W would have to be false in this situation, okay. On this one it'd have to be, okay. On this one it could also be false or true, okay. So regardless, W can be either true or false, so true, true, okay. So we could have true, true. Hold on a second. Whoops, my apologies. We cannot have over here because this, where contradiction has to come from the premises. Okay, so the only options we have here are true, true, false, false, or false. I'm looking at this, false, false, false. Okay, so this one has to be false. Okay, so false, true. There we go. Or if we have this situation, false, false. That would be false, false, false. That would still work too. Okay, so this comes out to be an invalid argument. Again, I didn't find a contradiction here. I have to find my contradictions in the premises, not over in the conclusion. So I can't, either way I work it, this is an invalid argument, and so that's it for today. You all have a great and wonderful day, and Lord bless you and keep you. All right.